Hi, welcome to our session on decompositions. The diagram hierarchy is created via drill downs. Drill downs are created from objects to diagrams, and we don't have a limit in the number of drill downs you can have or the type. Sometimes you have a situation where the child diagram already exists but is not linked to something. We can rectify that at any time by setting its parent object. And there's a tool included in the CW suite, which is the diagram tree. It's part of the CW modeler. The diagram tree allows us to clearly see what the hierarchical structure of your diagrams is, and if there are any gaps, or if there are any diagrams that are not linked to a parent object, and it helps us to rectify that. So this is an example diagram hierarchy where we're starting with an actual process hierarchy at the top, and then we drill down into a process flow called cell product, and another process flow, and a third process flow. And of course, a hierarchy does not have to be all about process flows. That is just the example we had here. Objects on diagrams can be set to drill down into one or more diagrams, thus creating a greater level of detail. And they become parent objects. So in this example, cell product at the very top is the parent object. Right here, cell product is a parent object for this cell product diagram. Process sales orders is a parent for process order. And then record order is a parent for the record order diagram. One parent can have many children, but each child diagram can only have one parent object. And diagram hierarchy is object to diagram, as we just specified, not diagram to diagram or object to object. The way you can create a drill down is in one of two ways, either to right-click on an object or by using the action menu. So if you right-click, you can choose Explode New, or you can do it from the action menu. And when you get that Explode New option, you can either do a diagram or a matrix. And if a drill down already exists, then the Explode option would have diagrams listed. We're going to do a drill down from the record order process in the swim lane diagram, which we created in a previous session, using the process flow level 4 as the template. So I went ahead and opened the swim lane diagram, which we created earlier. And now I'm going to look at my palette to see what I have, and I'm going to drill down from record order. So to drill down, I prefer to right-click, Explode New Diagram, but you also, of course, always have the option to Explode New from the action menu and choose Diagram. So both of those do the same thing. Once you are shown this new diagram screen, simply choose the template. I'm using process level 4. The diagram name is automatically filled out, and so you can click OK to go ahead and create that new diagram. I always turn on the grid when I work with diagrams, so go ahead and turn on your grid if you like that. And then following the example from our slides, I'm going to create this diagram. Diagram has an external event. This external event already exists. We can actually see that it's on the swim lane, and we're happy about that. We want to reuse it once again on this diagram. So it's the same event that causes this process to happen. And then for the organization or swim lane, we'll use inside sales, which also exists, and we'll say yes to go ahead and reuse that. And I like to keep my diagrams nice and neat, so I generally move things over a little bit as I go. Now remember, it's the top left corner is what we're attaching this object to, so we'll do this. Tiny bit more space. And then I'll make an internal results for order entered. Means we finished this, but this might go somewhere else to another process. And to connect everything, simply drag this over. And now if it looks like it's going behind the swim lane, go ahead and move the swim lane to the back. And I'll make these connectors mandatory. And then the diagram is done. Once I have all my connectors, you'll be able to see that now there is a return to parent button which has been enabled. It's no longer grayed out because I actually can return to the parent, meaning I can go back to where I came from. So I'll show you how that works. If we return to parent, that will take us back to the swim lane. And now on the swim lane diagram, record order has a little plus, which is my drill down. So of course I can click on that to go back in here. So this allows you to go back and forth between the two places. Now, sometimes you might encounter a situation where a diagram doesn't have a parent object set. So on the diagram properties, parent object is the place where you determine what this will drill down from. So the way we do that is we go to the properties of a diagram, we'll look at that section, we choose the object type and the object name. You can also use the existing objects list to set something as a diagram parent if you see the one you wish to link to. One way that we can quickly see which diagrams don't currently have parents is by checking the diagram tree. So the diagram tree is something you can enable from the window menu. It's one of the options that you can check off, and you can see if anything is missing. So we'll go ahead and do that and fix any diagrams that currently don't have parents. So I'm back on the diagram. You can see I didn't go anywhere yet, but I'm just going to look at the diagram tree, click on the refresh button. Now I can see that I have the menu diagram, which is the very first one. And then I have 3 diagrams below it that don't have parents. So we'll go through them one by one and see what we can link them to. I'm actually going to take you briefly into this menu diagram so you can see what this diagram looks like. We can use this as an example of things to anchor our exercises to. So we can anchor the swim lane diagram to the business architecture and the organization chart to the organizations button. And these buttons, you need to know what they are in order to be able to attach things to them. If you right-click and go to properties, you'll be able to see that these are framework help objects. You can always tell what something is just by doing a right-click. So I'll go to my, we can go back to record order where we came from. It doesn't really matter. And if I look at the diagram tree, click my refresh button, it's hidden to save memory in the machine. And then we'll start with organization chart. So if I go to properties of my organization chart diagram, on the general tab, you can see the parent object is not set. So this is where we can say framework help and organization. So we can do that like that. As soon as we hit OK, it will disappear from here. Sometimes you may just have to hit refresh to refresh that. Same thing for the swim lane diagram. So let's go to properties for the swim lane diagram. Make sure this is set to a framework help object. Business architecture, hit OK. Again, hit refresh. So now the only thing we have left in here is prepare the order. Prepare the order, just to remind us, this is the diagram that looks like this. So one thing we can do is we can actually attach prepare the order to a process that's on the swim lane diagram. So as a reminder, the swim lane diagram looks like this. One of the processes on here is called pick product. So we'll attach prepare the order to pick product. So this will have a plus in a moment when we are done. So let's go ahead and go to that child diagram, go to the properties. You can access the properties by doing a right click on the white space, or you can always click on properties from the home menu. So if I click on properties, we're going to choose process this time. So the first 2 examples were framework help. This will be a process, and this process is called pick product. So you always want to know where this is going to go. So let's go ahead and choose pick product and hit OK. Once again, I now have a return to parent button enabled. And here is pick product. So pick product now has a drill down. So of course we can go back and forth between those 2 diagrams. So to summarize, we were able to create this drill down. We were also able to create the record order drill down, which we did from the top down. So you can create drill downs from the bottom up if you already have the child. You need to link it to a parent. And we also demonstrated how we can clean up a diagram hierarchy in here from the menu model. So from the menu, we also now have access to our exercise diagram. So the swim lane diagram can be accessed from the business architecture button, and organizations allows us to access the exercise for org chart. So now our diagram tree is really nice and neat. So to summarize, drill downs allow your diagrams to be connected hierarchically. There's no limit to the number of drill downs you can have from an object, nor the kind of drill downs. You're not limited to just process flows or hierarchies or application architecture diagrams. You can have whichever number of drill downs you need to have. And structure your model in such a way so that the diagram tree shows a clear and consistent hierarchy, and you can use the diagram tree as a tool to help you achieve that. Thank you. Have a great day.